Hello friends. This is probably not the best time to start this video because I have my dishwasher going, but here we are. I just wanted to start my reading vlog right here because today is the first morning in a really long time. I want to say maybe like honestly close to a month that I may or may not have skipped my morning class. And sat on that couch and read my book, and it was just such a treat and a form of escapism and just relaxing and being in my thoughts. But by thoughts I mean have what I'm reading circulating in my mind as opposed to anything related to school or like just life stresses, and it was just so needed. So with that, I wanted to share that I went to the bookstore, sorry, not the bookstore, the library a few weeks ago, and I picked up the Changeling by Joy Williams, and I was called to get this book because I went on some like rabbit hole trying, and I do this like periodically whenever I either like watch a video or think about The Seas. And the lovely Anna reviewed The Seas in her like yearly favorites or whatever, and obviously it made me think of The Seas, and so that's probably what led me to try and find a book that evokes similar feelings or maybe engages with similar themes. And in some article that I was reading, they were talking about The Changeling by Joy Williams, so I thought to myself, you know what? Miss Williams did not hit when I read Harrow, but perhaps that was like a time and a place thing, and it just like wasn't the right time or place to engage with her work. So I wanted to give her a second chance, and I thought, you know what, if they have it at the library, like what's the harm? If I don't like it, I'll just, bring it back. And I've thoroughly been enjoying myself. It is such a eerie, disconcerting little book. The writing is so fire. The story, there's some like subliminal, like uncanny vibe that your brain can't quite make sense of. So you keep on reading to sort of like understand or figure out this like riddle or puzzle that you are all of a sudden like confronted with and also very much consumed by. And that's exactly what's going on here. So we follow a young woman who has just had a baby, and she's fleeing this very strange environment where she lives with her partner, intimate partner, or like the father's, the baby's father, I should say, in this remote island with the rest of the dad's family and a bunch of children that come into this island because the husband or the partner's brother has this like weird, well, I shouldn't say weird like obsession with children because that makes it sound like there's some like sexual underpinnings, and like so far I haven't felt that. But anyways, he just wants to be surrounded by children, so he brings these children into this island. I'm making this sound so bizarre. I mean, it is bizarre. Anyways, so she's fleeing this weird island situation to Florida, and well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but anyway, so something happens in Florida that brings her back to the island, and she is sort of like spiraling into the surrealist, like fever dream like spell of this island and the kids and the family that inhabit it. Anyways, it's very atmospheric. The writing, like I said, is really striking, and it's very like compellable in the sense that you just, like I said, want to figure out what's going on. So you just like read more and more and more, and it's very easy to get like wrapped up in the spell of things. So anyways, I hadn't been given it the time of day because I've been so goddamn busy. But this morning, because my class was canceled, I was able to put a dent in it. So I'm at 145 pages in, and it's kind of a short book. It's like 2 something or other. Anyways, I also left mating halfway because it was simply too thick. I mean, I'm at 243, so I mean, we're getting there. But anyways, this was simply too thick, and I just wanted something that was like a little bit more not fast paced, because I wouldn't say this is necessarily fast paced, but this is certainly like addicting to read. Whereas with Mating, I feel like it's a very interesting story, but it follows a very like predictable like plot line, if you will. Whereas this, you want to read because you don't know what the fuck is going on. So it's just like a bit more challenging, but in a more welcoming kind of way for me right now than Mating is. But we're still working through her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like DNFing it or anything. Oh, hold on. Anyway, sorry. Where were we? I just made my tea. Anyways, yeah. So I have just really been impressed by this, and I again thought that maybe it wasn't going to be my cup of tea, but yeah, Joy Williams seems to be a very like witchy, interesting writer. Lol, I love my descriptive words. Miss Williams seems to be like a witchy woman. Anyways, yeah, that's been me. The reason why I've been absent is simply because I just truly have not been doing any reading whatsoever. I decided to make life hard for myself and signed up for this Moot that has just completely taken over my life, my thoughts, my free time, literally everything and anything. Wow, I'm making it sound so dramatic, but like it kind of is a little dramatic because it's so much work. It's probably like the hardest thing I've done academically, and it's also very challenging because my Moot specifically is in immigration law, and like I don't really have a background. In fact, there's like not a immigration law class that I could take at school, so it's just been like learning this area of the law, and on top of that like trying to come up with an argument, and on top of that trying to not sound like an absolute moron in front of my coaches. So anyways, that's sort of what I've been dealing with lately, or what life has been looking like for me. So you haven't really missed much. It's just been a whole lot of that, and yeah, just going to sleep at like 1:30 working on this thing, which if you know me or if you've paid attention, you know that I like to stick by my grandma life, and I typically go to sleep at like 9:45. But yeah, so life has changed a little bit and has gotten a lot more intense, and I've just had a lot less free time, unfortunately, which explains the lack of reading. But I thought, again, like my last vlog, I would just turn on the camera periodically and just catch you up on what's been going on, reading or otherwise, mostly school. So yeah, you're gonna get some law school content. No, just kidding. It's literally so boring. I just sit on my computer the whole day and just exist solely in my mind. And then I sometimes do my little Pilates and move around, and it's nice to be like, oh wow, like I do actually like have a vessel that carries me places, and like it's nice to be active. I don't know why we got into that tangent, but anyways, that's literally been my life, like school, grocery store, my desk over there, and occasionally working out and going to sleep late, and that's it. But I did bake a cake yesterday, a semolina fennel olive oil cake, and that also brought me a lot of joy last night, because I just haven't really been baking or doing anything elaborate in the kitchen, which is another thing that I love to do apart from reading and whatnot. Anyways, oh, I got this little guy for Christmas, and I absolutely love her. She's so like, you just want to like cradle her like this, you know? Now I'm just like, you've got me like talking, and now I just want to talk about literally everything in sight and on my mind, but I'm just trying to catch you up. Anyways, I discovered this really beautiful little like cafe slash store last time I was in Vancouver, and I just like completely fell in love with their ceramic selection, and it's all various artists from various parts of BC. And anyways, this was just one of the things that I got from my dad for Christmas, and I just love it, man. And whenever I have this weird like attraction towards a physical object, I instantly think to The Employees by Olga Ravin, and that book centering so much on humans' attraction to, yeah, just inanimate objects and how we drench them with meaning. And this is just like a perfect example, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh. Anyways, yeah, so cute. Probably should take this off, but I just don't want to forget the Potter, Wicked Wanda, in case you were wondering. Anyways, okay, that's enough for me. I'm sorry, that was like so much like ADHD right there, but yeah, we'll see what we get up to. I am I'm going back to Vancouver next week because it'll be my reading break, so that'll be nice, although not really because I've submitted my written submissions for my Moot, but now we have to start working on like our oral submissions and like just oral advocacy. So that's what I'll be doing for the next 2 weeks while I'll be in Vancouver. And then I'm off to Toronto for the actual thing, March 2nd. So anyway, yeah, that's been me. I hope all of you are doing well, hopefully living a bit more exciting lives than I am. But, you know, if you're not, that's okay too, because, you know, life can't always be exciting. You know what I mean? Or find like joy and excitement in the little things, such as a little vase, you know? Good morning, everyone. It is the day where I submit my written factum, and I am like brimming with the anticipated joy that I will feel once I never have to edit this document ever again. There's still a few edits to be made, so it's not like I'm not quite liberated yet, you know? So the joy is like on the horizon, but it's not like I haven't fully felt it, you know what I mean? Anyways, so because today's such an important day, naturally, I have to set myself up for absolute success. And that entails Eggos. I was grocery shopping and I saw these and I bought them just for nostalgia's sake because this is what fueled me as a kid, which is interesting because I eat an Eggo waffle now and it's literally like I just consumed air with maple syrup. Like literally does not keep me full whatsoever. So I don't know what I was on, but yeah, this and Cinnamon Toast Crunch were like on rotation every goddamn week of my life. Anyways, so I'm gonna have an Eggo as my first breakfast, and then I'm gonna have a poached egg on toast and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, which is also another thing I want to say about this is, mind you, I haven't had this honestly since I was, you know, like in elementary school or something. And I think this is the first time I've ever bought Eggos as a grown adult. But that did not stop my brain from knowing exactly how to eat this. I cut the edges, I left the little square in the middle, and then I ate the little square at the end because you gotta save the best for last. Hello. I wanted to do another reading update because I'm really happy to report that I did a whole lot of reading this weekend. What am I at? I'm at 2:15, so we are getting mighty close. And it's doubly satisfying because I have 4 days to finish this before my hold is up. And it's perfect because I'm going to Vancouver on Thursday, so I wanted to return this before I'm off and somebody else can pick it up. But anyways, yes, this weekend was honestly such a delight. I was able to just sit on my couch enjoy my tranquil apartment and just get really immersed in this novel. And it was exactly what I wanted. Although, like I said earlier, the initial intention for picking The Changeling up was because somebody had compared it to The Seas. Now, I don't quite see the connection. Well, sort of. I mean, something unrelated to the plot or the themes discussed in either book. The sort of like way that these authors are able to, and I wish I had a better way of conveying this, but of like casting a spell on you where you are just so immersed in the world that they bring to life. And both books do have this like sort of like fairy tale witchy tone to them that makes it all the more compelling and just all consuming and just really enthralling. So in that respect, I do certainly see a similarity, although I do feel like the way that both books talk about loss and children and innocence and escapism through your imagination, or like sort of bending reality, and the way that both authors play with the subconscious and blur the lines of like what is real and what is imaginative or fiction or a projection of our subconscious. In a like really, both authors do it in like just such a masterful and compelling way. But anyways, I'm not going to compare the two because both of them deserve the praise that they get respectively. But if anything, while reading The Changeling, I was thinking a lot about Angela Carter's The Passions of New Eve. Now, this book is like a whole other journey. So I, again, should not even like equate the two. But the feeling of like otherworldliness and uncertainty as to where the story would evolve, and the feeling that there's this undercurrent that isn't being like completely explicitly being told to us. So we almost have to engage critically with the text, or like Joy Williams is not spelling anything out for you. In fact, I don't think she's worried or concerned with trying to make a cohesive story for the reader. I think that the magic in her work is that sense of not knowing, and that like unease that you feel while you're reading the story of like something not being quite right, but you can't figure out what it is. Like, sort of this disconcerting, like eerie tone is what she's trying to convey. She's not trying to handhold you. She's not trying to make this perfect, sweet little narrative about, this wealthy family that lives on this island and has not a care in the world. No, that's not the vibe. So in that respect, it just sort of reminded me of the work of Angela Carter, but specifically The Passion of New Eve. Anyways, so alongside that, the narrative is really subversive because it's setting you up in this like super idyllic environment where Pearl is in this very seemingly beautiful landscape with everything at her disposal. I think I mentioned this already, but she ends up meeting this older gentleman who owns and lives on this private island with his family, and the brother has this affinity for children, and so he just has a bunch of children on this wealthy island. I mean, it sort of reeks of like inheritance. So nobody on this island works, but the family and this 12 children just run around this island, and all sorts of things start to happen, and we understand them through the perspective of Pearl, who is under substances throughout the entire narrative. So she's either drinking wine or gin. So it just, again, makes you question what is real and what isn't real. So anyways, it's doing a lot of things. It's just so consuming, and exactly the kind of like story that I was looking for, and I'm just so thankful that it came sort of at the perfect time. And it was just a really lovely reward too, because I submitted my written factum on Friday, and so I was like, well, I am going to resume my life at least for 2 days and pretend I don't really have any other responsibilities, which again, obviously I don't want to complain because I am just really privileged. I mean, studying and not really having to worry about anything else is already like a huge privilege in and of itself. So without sounding like a spoiled brat, it was just super nice to be able to just read and hold on to that joy of mine without having to worry about school or anything else really. So anyways, yes, I would highly recommend The Changeling. It's a odd, very strange book, but if that's the sort of thing that you are seeking in your reading, and potentially a challenging read, I would certainly recommend it. And I'm really glad that I gave Joy Williams a second shot. So there's a lesson for all you folks out there. And the same applies for Miss Sheila Heti, to be honest with you. I mean, I freaking hated How Should a Person Be? And now I think she's probably one of my favorite authors. And part of the reason why she's front and center in my mind because the wonderful Jalen from The Bar and the Bookcase interviewed the one and only Miss Sheila Heti, and a lot of what she says in that interview has just been like percolating in my mind and been occupying my thoughts, and I'm just so excited to read her latest work. Anyways, that was such a random aside. But you're all used to it at this point, I feel like. Me starting here and just like throwing anything that's on my mind just like out the mouth. But anyways, yes, that is another book that I hopefully want to get to this year. And every time I just read something good, I just get so excited for what's to come, and just why reading is just the most magical and wonderful thing that we have. And talking about it too is just so fun and adds like a different layer to everything that I quite enjoy. So thank you for allowing me to do that with an audience. Not that you can't do this on your own, by all means. Talk solo to your cat or something whenever. I do that too. But anyways, to sit here and read for a bit longer, it's Monday, so I did go to class. I did go through my oral submission today, but I think I'm just gonna allow myself like 20 minutes because it's a nice afternoon, and then I'll get back to work. But those are my reading updates so far, and I suppose school updates as well. But yeah, we'll tune back in when I'm done, but I think I have like 50-ish pages left, but I don't assume that my thoughts will change. If anything, I'll probably just enjoy the weird turn that I'm sure the book will take, because I have quite frankly no idea how this book will wrap up, if at all, really. I don't anticipate that it will. Hello. It is the day of my departure from where I go to school. So I'm just sitting here eating my bowl of greens, just drowning in Dijon mustard, honestly. The greens are but a vessel to my Dijon obsession. And then I've got some noodles there. And Nathan on my screen. Yeah, I'm just chilling for a little bit. I've got my friend Dennis coming by in a bit to pick up my precious package, aka Boo Boo, because that's where he's gonna be staying at with his stepdad for the next 2 weeks while I'm gone. So yeah, I sat down and read a little bit of this when I got home. We're back on the mating bandwagon. I'm almost done. Like, I really just need to commit to it, like I gotta get her done. And you guys are probably so tired of seeing this already, to be honest with you. But anyways, that's gonna be my reading material for my 5-hour flight to Toronto. So hopefully I'll be able to, make more of a dent. But yeah, that's what I'm bringing. I don't anticipate that I'll be doing a whole lot of reading, to be honest with you, because I'm just gonna be sorry, I'm gonna bleep that because I just can't be swearing too much on these vlogs, My mom's not gonna like that. So anyways, I don't really think I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading because I'm just gonna be very nervous, and we'll probably just be like practicing and also just like hanging out with my like Moot team and my Moot coaches, because we've been doing this virtually. They live in Toronto. So yeah, I feel like I'll probably be out doing things with humans instead of sitting alone and reading. So I'm mainly just envisioning that I'll be doing a lot of reading on the plane and airport because, there's not much. I think I'm just going to be extending this vlog to my reading break in Vancouver, and we'll see what we get up to. But yeah, just a little quickie update, nothing too exciting. I'm just chuckling away with Nathan while I eat my lunch before I'm out of here at 4:45 on the bus. So, yay. We are back home. The Toronto adventure, and the Moot for that matter, has come to an end, and it feels kind of bittersweet because, like I've said now a million times, it just like monopolized my life for the past like 4-ish months, and now to be free of the Moot just feels a little bit disorienting, but also lovely nonetheless. I woke up for the first time in a long time today, made my cup of tea, and just sat down and read something that had nothing to do with school or the Moot, and that was an amazing feeling. So yeah, all in all, probably the most challenging thing I've done academically, like I feel like I also said already, but just like the ending and my experience in Toronto and meeting the coaches in person, because we've been working over like Google Teams because they are both from Toronto. Anyway, just that whole experience was truly incredible and like probably the highlight of my law school journey. So I encourage you to do a Moot if you are in law school at all and like are kind of thinking about it. It will drive you insane, and it will make you doubt why you're even putting yourself through it. But in the end, it'll feel so rewarding. You'll have a newfound confidence, and you'll just have acquired skills that you wouldn't necessarily have acquired. Like my capacity to fill my brain in with so much knowledge about an area of the law that I just had no idea about before starting this Moot in such a condensed short amount of time is actually insane. And I hope to use that newfound skill in all of my other courses that I've just neglected for the past like 4 months, like I said, because I'll be done school in April. So I'm hoping I can just like jam pack all the knowledge in my head in the next month before school's over. So anyways, enough about that. The Moot experience was incredible, and it was also super nice to have Toronto as like the backdrop of it all, because I had been there once before when I was super young. Couldn't remember anything other than just like the frigid cold and wind, which is still a thing that I just was better prepared for it now at 26 years old. So yeah, on Sunday, I had the full day to myself. So I did a bit of exploring, and I went to a super cute bookstore and the art gallery, and I went and walked along Kensington Street Market, another street too that starts with an O that I forget the name of. Anyways, I did like a marathon in terms of walking. So I just really tried to jam pack as much as possible, because other than that, we just went out to dinner and then just were grinding intensely, and then obviously having the Moot. So anyway, back to, that's just my, I guess, personal life update. But I wanted to come on here and share some reading updates. The first being that I finished Mating. Now, I did not like it. I feel like I did this to myself because I really prolonged the reading experience of this book, and maybe if I hadn't spent literally 3 months getting through this, my lasting thought or my overall opinion about this book maybe would be different. But I'm not lying when I tell you that I like rage read this in my 4-hour plane ride back home. Like, I was so annoyed and pissed off. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is how this story is going to go. Because I will say, like, the first, I don't know, like 200-ish pages, I was actually enjoying it. I liked the complexity of the language. I really enjoyed the narrator's voice. And then in the middle, I was just like completely uninterested, and I started to find her kind of insufferable and just like overly pretentious. Like, just this infatuation with Danoon got kind of annoying, and it just was boring. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, as soon as she got to I'm not going to call it a cult because that's not what it is, but like the little society that Danoon created, things just kind of went downhill, and I just got kind of annoyed. And then I was also just thinking, like, why are we reading about Botswana through the lens of these two annoying white academics? Like, that sort of started to piss me off a little bit. And then the end also pissed me off too. Like, are you kidding me? You're just going to shove another girl who's like younger and like prettier and like just as smart as you down Danoon's throat just because you think he's getting bored of you? Or I don't know. That really irked me and rubbed me the wrong way. And I thought maybe this is why it's written by a man. I don't know. I like I said, like I've said before, this might have just been a wrong time, wrong mindset kind of thing. And perhaps if I were to like read this in another, time in my life, maybe I'll think differently. But in the time that I read this, that being on Sunday on my flight over, which to be fair, I was already not in a great mood because I was so exhausted and kind of moody, and my flight was delayed, and I just wasn't in the best headspace. And then on top of that, it's I'm confronted with the story with just like overly annoying, like verbose language. And like I said, she just became like incessantly more annoying as time went by. The middle bit was quite frankly boring. And then the end was also just kind of dissatisfactory and just like, really? That's how we're going to conclude it? I'm glad she left though. That I think was the right call. But anyways, I don't know. I'm sorry. This is like, I'm spoiling it now, but I really had higher hopes for Mating, but it just wasn't it. It really wasn't. I'm glad I read it though. I am, because I think I would have just always wondered about the story, and the premise seemed alluring. And like I said, the first 200 pages, like I was nodding along. She was kind of witty and hyper analytical and super introspective, and it was good. But then it just lost me. So this is a no for me, but take it with a grain of salt, okay? Like I said, I was moody. Obviously people adore this book, but just was not for me. And boy, am I glad that this is over. Like, I never want to see this cover again. Sorry, I'm like now so full of rage again. I think also I've been like holding on to this book. I want to say I started it either like late December, early January. So it's also like representative of the fact that I just have not read at all this entire year pretty much. So this is just like a reminder of like, oh, like I haven't read and I'm still reading Mating. Jesus Christ. So it could have also been a part of that as well, just like my own frustration with my lack of reading. And then I'm just like taking it out on this book because it's not at all really like the vibe that I want in terms of how I want to re-enter my bookish life. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna stop. But sorry to Norman Rush and sorry to all the Mating fans, but I'm not one of them, so sorry. Also, I don't think it helped that in Toronto I decided to treat myself, although I had no business doing this because it's a hardcover book. I don't know who I think I am, but I ended up getting Alphabetical Diaries by Sheila Heti. Again, I was just hugely influenced by all my friends and Jalen's podcast interviewing Sheila Heti, which I have already mentioned before, which I was so taken by her very soft demeanor. That was also really interesting. Like the author as like an entity outside their work and a person that is so like elusive in your brain, or not even elusive, but like you kind of construct them as you think they are. And then when you see them in an interview or you see them in a talk or whatever, you're like, oh, wow, interesting. And then you like marry your own vision of what these people are like with like who they actually are in real life, and just like, yes, the subjectivity of it all. But anyways, sorry, I'm rambling. I bought this, and this was just like burning a hole in my backpack, in terms of how much I wanted to pick this up on my plane ride instead of finishing Norman Rush. But I had to really exercise some self-control and self-restraint, and I told myself, no, we have to finish Mating before we start this. This will be your reward. So yeah, I'm about to sit here, enjoy the sunshine here for a little bit, and start this. And I'm just so over the moon. I already read the first page, and already I was just so captivated. And yeah, like I said, I really had no business buying this, but I could not help myself because, you know, Sheila is kind of what I need right now. I think this is exactly what I want as my welcome back to reading kind of gift to myself now that my life can resume as it was pre-Moot. So yeah, we shall discuss this in my next vlog. I think I'll wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this kind of long vlog, kind of documenting the last little bit of my mood, I guess, and my kind of 180 when it comes to Joy Williams. So that was really unexpected, and again, I guess that was my introduction back into reading, which was great. And hopefully I'm just going to continue those good vibes with Sheila Heti, and I'm going to never think of mating ever again. No, just kidding. I'm just excited to move along my reading journey and see what other good things I can read this year. So anyway, on that note, let me know what you've been reading lately, and we'll see each other very soon. Bye.